Lesson 107, slope. We are going over slope. So slope is just how steep a line is. So if we are going uphill from left to right, and I like to draw a little car going up the hill to show that it's driving in that way. If I put the light, it shows it's going uphill. So if we are going upward, we have what's called a positive slope. And if we are going downhill, it will be a negative slope. And this is downward. Now, if you have a horizontal line, it has a 0 slope. In other words, the slope itself will equal 0. So we can just draw a car. I like to put a car that can drive in either direction. So we can go front or forward. So, horizontal line. If you have a vertical line, our car would not be able to drive on that cliff, right? It's going to go right off it. And they're going to be in there saying, ah, we're dying. So this is a vertical line, and it has an undefined slope. There will be no number for it. Undefined slope. And the reason is because we are dividing by 0. And we can't divide by 0. The slope is always a fraction or a number that can be written as a fraction, but when you reduce it, you get a whole number, and that's okay. Or, I'm sorry, not a whole number, but the integer. So it could be an integer or any fraction. We call it sometimes the rise over the run. So how far do you rise, and then how far do you run to get from one point to the other on the line? Sometimes you'll see change in y divided by the change in x. And in science, you'll see a little triangle. That means change in y, change in x. Those are like 3 different ways to write it. I always remember the rise over run, because when I wake up in the morning, I must rise out of bed before I run to use the restroom, because I always wake up having to go to the bathroom. So, rise over run. So how to find slope. This is how we're going to do it. So you find 2 points on the line that you can name. So find 2 points where the line goes exactly through the grid of your graph. So exactly through one of those corner points of a square on your graph. And that part's really important. If you can find the 2 points on the line, it makes life a lot easier when we're trying to find slope. The rise is how much the line goes up or down between the 2 exact points. I didn't mean saying between the 2 exact points. I don't know if I can fit that in there. Let's try it. 2 exact points. So those 2 points that you found. Then the run is how much the line goes left or right between those 2 exact points. We are going to do a worksheet called, it's Lesson Activity 24. So if we write this in here when you see it, if you want to look at it for examples, you can. So I'm going to stop the tape, and then we'll work on that worksheet together real quick.